Hello fellow fraggers, my name is Frag himself, and this is the second part of the new 2022 tier list miniseries on my channel, where me and Space Unicorn will rank all of the characters in Frag going into 2022. In this video, we're gonna be ranking all of the middle tier characters. So if you've not seen the first one, where we rank the low tier characters, I'd encourage you to go click on the link right up here, because we're gonna be explaining how the whole tier lists are gonna work. So with all that said, I don't think I need to say anything more. Drop a like and subscribe, that would be great. And with all that said, let's get into the ranking. Right, so Space, are you ready to rank all of the middle tier characters?
Yeah, I think we're ready here. Let's see what we got.
Let's see. So I think we can start with a our Ape Suit here. Ape Suit, I think, is kind of like your typical middle tier character. He's sort of good. He's pretty tanky, honestly. It's surprising how tanky he is. But the damage is okay, I think. Okay on the bunkers. Okay speed. Kind of a B tier, probably.
I would agree with that. Ape Suit brings a lot of tank, and his minigun is useful. His primary fire needs some work. But yeah, that's kind of where we sit right now with him. The primary fire is not there. He's tanky enough that he can get there. The ultimate ability is good, but that primary fire is letting him down.
Yep. Right, then we can take a look at, you know, the two healing characters that are kind of similar. We got BiBi and we got Queen Boom.
Honestly, I think Queen Boom and BiBi are slept on by a lot of people. The heal factor that they can deliver, especially if you know how to use it correctly, can literally save a push. I think that they are a mid-tier character overall because the damage and the way it's delivered, but the viability and what they can bring to your team is very useful.
Which one do you think is better? So I used to think BiBi was better, but honestly, I think the heal is kind of doesn't matter as much now. Maybe Queen Boom's speed is actually the speed boost actually matters more, and even if the speed buff, the heal buff is temporary, it can help you. It can help you a lot, like stay alive longer. So I think Queen Boom's actually better. Do you agree?
I actually think BiBi's a little better, but they are very close. The reason I say BiBi, just to keep it brief, is so every time BiBi's heal pulses, it can cancel something. So if you're facing a Kazulu and you start stepping on those mines, every time he heal pulses cancels each bit of that each time you step on it. So you can literally walk through it and come out unscathed if you're careful. Okay,
that's actually a good reason to put him in, better than Queen Boom, because realistically you're gonna play against a lot of Kazulu, so maybe that matchup matters quite a bit. And okay, I'm okay with it. I think A+ tier should be where they are.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I just want to remember you guys that A+ tier is gonna be the highest middle tier characters. So you know they're middle tier, but they're stepping on high tier. It doesn't take much it really doesn't take much to make them a little bit higher. Now we're gonna have Big Paku and Cybercop. I like to place them, you know, together because they're both, I would say, more or less AI cards. Cards that you can switch to use the ultimate ability and then switch back to your main card.
Yeah, so Cybercop, I really love Cybercop. The AI is just too dumb to avoid the wall. I think Paku's kind of in that Ape Suit range, and I think Cybercop's just slightly above him, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd say Big Paku should be a little bit higher, because the ultimate ability can one-shot cards, and when you play him, he can actually, like, do something. He can get rid of meta cards, which I think is a matchup that is pretty much like important to think about. Same thing with Cybercop, which is why I'd probably place them in something like A- tier, and going on A+ even.
I can understand that. Yep.
Next one, oh my god, next one is Blot. Blot he's a special character because he used to be so damn overpowered, kind of annoying, but now he's really fun to play, because he was always pretty fun to play. It just kind of used to be a little bit too much, you know.
He went from being a tower rusher to a slayer. People seem to forget how hard he hits. If you can get him at that right range, he's definitely a solid mid-tier card for sure.
I'd say he also probably should be in something like, oh, actually no, A+ tier. I think A+ tier makes sense with Queen Boom and BiBi, because he can definitely be used to kill a lot of cards, and even meta cards if you use him wisely. Yeah, and the alternate ability is just, he goes really fast, so that speed is also pretty important. I think A+ makes sense, right?
Yep, I would agree with that.
Next one we're gonna have Bobbler, Dr. Frost, Prisoner 99. Just for fun, who do you think is better? I would say probably Bobbler.
I think Prisoner's the best of those three.
Interesting. So the reason why I think it's Bobbler, because Bobbler's bubble is as good on OP cards as it is on your average cards. So I think Prisoner 99's damage sort of falls back when you play against OP cards.
I can understand you with that, Bobbler. My thing with Prisoner, realistically, his AI just operates well, and the shotgun that he has a lot of range. And that Saw Blade, cannot underestimate that Saw Blade. It also can be used offensively to just melt towers. I can understand where you're at with Bobbler, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're kind of different characters. Prisoner is sort of a card that you want to be maining a little more. He's definitely easier to play. Bobbler, I think, would be a better AI card. So, keep that in mind. I'm okay with, actually, Prisoner, Bobbler, could probably be A minus.
I can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Frost, which is, I know you like this card. Honestly, I'm gonna say I'd put him in B tier.
Frosty Boy
But I know you're gonna say A minus.
Frosty Boy used to be the best card in the game. Not even joking. He was the most broken card Frag has ever seen. But I would say he's probably a high B right now.
Yep. No, definitely a high B. Somewhere with like Poké Hunter and Ape Suit. Oh, our next one, that's a card I really like playing. Cleo. Cleo is really fun. She's probably, she is the most agile card in the game. The character that you want to use if you want to go just run around the map without really any goal in mind. But if you have a goal in mind, which is probably to win, she's not gonna be your best card. She's still gonna be okay. So I think it's sort of an A plus card.
I would agree with that. Cleo is really agile. I love the mobility Cleo brings to the table, and she actually delivers pretty decent damage if you're good with her. But yeah, she's extremely agile. Definitely high mid tier.
Okay, so next one, I think we can talk a little bit about Desperados. Desperados used to be like very very OP. I think he used to be like the second best card in the game back during like a Hunter meta.
Yeah, you're remembering that correctly. The interesting thing with Desper is that is not the strongest Desper has been. The strongest iteration of Desper was his first iteration whenever he launched. I actually did the first ever video on Desper, believe it or not.
Okay.
The original Desper had a 4-second stun and automatic reload on lasso use. Yeah.
4 seconds? Hey, God. 4 seconds is like the whole game. Okay.
Yeah. Like you'd lasso somebody and they were dead. And then if you went up to a tower, you could try to lasso a tower to get instant reload, and you could just keep doing that over and over and over again because the lasso had no cooldown on it. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I'd say now like Desperados is like sort of a similar to Cleo. He's sort of fast with his lasso. He can counter a lot of cards very well, even in the meta, which is why I think it bumps him up to the top of the middle tier. Not quite S tier, as we'll see that the S tier characters are quite stronger. They're pretty much. There's a pretty big difference between the A plus tier and the S tier characters. So yeah, I think Desperados is sort of A plus.
I would agree with that.
All right, next one is gonna be FreezeB. FreezeB is probably like bottom of the middle tier.
Yeah, I would agree. There's not much to say about her. I just hate the way the projectile works.
True. The ult is perfectly fine. I think it's just the damage is also okay. It's just that it's hard to hit her shots, and the angles make it like weird to use her consistently. So yeah, B tier is probably okay. We can go talk about Fraggenstein now. Well, what do you think of Fraggenstein? I think he's actually probably pretty underrated right now.
Oh, he's very underrated. He's a walking Zap Girl turret. That's what he is. And he does good damage too. Fraggenstein is kind of one of those sneaky cards that if somebody's good with them, he has value. So I would put him B plus, A minus. In my opinion, probably
A. And honestly, I'm really considering putting him in A plus. And like, I honestly think he should probably be an A+, because I think most people don't have him at a high level, because for the longest time it was even worth it to place him in your deck. But as a main card, I think he's pretty tanky. It could work at A+, but probably bottom of A+, because he's also pretty fast now. Like, during his ultimate ability, how fast is he? Speed effect 1.2, so he's like 13.6.
Yeah, he's usable. Fraggenstein does not get enough love.
Probably going to another card that doesn't get enough love, which is gonna be Jet. Well, okay, Jet's probably one of the most used card in the early arenas, because she's very, very fun.
She's also, I think Jet's a ton of fun as well. Jet's like one of those cards though that like whenever somebody's ladder grinding, and they want to have fun, they put Jet in. That should tell you like the imprint Jet leaves on players from those early arenas. The fact that the for lack of a better term, sweaty players will put her in whenever they want to have fun. As far as viability goes, it's not quite there, but she does have some survivability. So I would put her at A.
Yeah, A minus probably. Yeah, I think that I was thinking of putting her in somewhere like B tier, but her pushback actually is pretty interesting. All right, next one on the list, we're gonna have Cactarina. Cactarina is so fun, and she's very, very close to being like actual meta, I think.
I actually run a Cactarina. I love Cactarina. She does so much damage, and honestly, people just need to realize how fast she. So whenever I build a lineup, I'm looking for a card that's gonna be sneaky and quick off the respawn. Cactarina does all that, and then on top of it, if you get her to her tower, it's 100 damage every 2 shots. It's so much damage.
Oh yeah, her bunker damage is no joke. Her ultimate ability is a great tool to, if you're able to throw it to your opponent. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it works. And honestly, just spamming it on the ground is also very useful, because you just get rid of AI cards. I think that's a very, very borderline S tier, but probably A+ for now. But I'd say like top of A+. All right, next we're gonna have Fragman,
the Power Ranger.
Yeah.
I think he's actually in a pretty good spot right now. I have him middle of the road A. The ultimate ability is just, man, that ult's good. The primary fire is consistent enough that you can inflict damage at pretty much with any range you want. So
I think that's
the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's the kind of card that is great against a lot of meta cards. That, I mean, if you just want to kill a meta card really quickly, a card that you're having trouble playing against, Fragman's probably your guy. His ultimate ability is great to target anyone. Even his AI is actually pretty good. So I think he's A+, along with Cactarina. Next one, General Mekk.
Fair.
Maybe General Mekk, I'm underestimating him. But I just don't really. Every time I try to play him, he just doesn't do anything that crazy. He's got pretty good damage, but he's sort of slow and sort of low HP. So I'd say A- actually.
I would agree with that. I think General Mekk's a good card, but he's missing something. What that something is up for debate. But yeah, I would agree with you.
I'd say that most of the middle tier characters all of them don't really need don't really need anything more. It's probably more like a nerf kind of deal. Like, if you nerf most of the better characters, most of the middle tier characters are actually pretty well designed. Like, I don't have a problem with John Mekk's design, to be honest. Okay, we can go with Hades for next one. Like, she's okay as an AI card or as a main. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I'd put her in something like A+, but on maybe on the end of A+, not at the top.
Yeah, I would agree. Hades' ultimate ability is invaluable. Primary fire is good. It's a good all-around card.
Great range. She's gonna be an okay sniper. Let's go with Hakuryu. Where would you put Hakuryu?
A good Hakuryu is a high A.
Yep.
But most people do not play him good.
True. Yeah. You do need very good aiming to use him well. Yeah. I can agree with that.
His ultimate ability is almost a hindrance, especially if it's fully charged, because of how fast you go.
Yep. I honestly, whenever I play Hakuryu, like, my strat is just get the kills, and once you have 3 kills, rush the bunkers. That's all I can think of, because whenever I try to use the ability to get rid of characters, it sort of backfires, and it just sort of ends up that I don't really kill characters that much faster anyway.
Yep.
So I think probably top of A tier, A minus, bottom of A plus.
Yeah, I would say
probably,
yeah, I would say A minus.
DJ Equalizer, recently buffed card. What do you think of him? I actually think he's gonna be A plus. All right, maybe controversial.
I don't know about A plus. I think that the changes were a step in the right direction, but he's still missing something. I think personally for me, he's a B plus, A minus. My opinion.
Well, okay, so let's compromise. Put him at middle of A minus. I can see it. He's fitting well with all of the other AI sort of AI defender cards. He's also got okay AI, but I think he's better as a main because once you master the disco discs, which sounds pretty good, you can really take advantage of the stun and make him a pretty good card. I'd say he hits pretty hard.
Yeah, I can understand that.
All right, next we're gonna have JB.
No, JB is slept on.
Yep.
That card's good, and people don't play him enough.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's okay. I'd put him actually with Jet. You agree?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think he's around Jet. Yeah. The mines, the combination of the mine headshot is a lot of damage.
Definitely.
And the range. He actually has good range.
Yeah. True. Well, true, but I think when you try to get to hit your character at long ranges, you do need obviously better aiming, but also there's a little bit of spread with his main fire, I'd say, so it kind of gets harder to hit enemies at longer range. Yeah, the headshots are kind of a big deal for him. Okay, Laika. I'm wondering where would you put Laika, because she's gotten buffed like a while ago.
Yeah, Laika's buff was nice. Honestly, I think Laika's in a very comfortable B plus position. She's still a really big hitbox, but the changes they made to her helped a lot. And I think that's where I'd put her.
Yep, I completely agree. I think she's like a very middle of the road character and doesn't need any more changes. I think she's perfectly fine. So, yeah, something like B, top of B tier, probably A minus. I think that makes a lot of sense. She can do a lot of bunker damage, not very fast, but the missiles can definitely do a lot of damage as well and kind of tanky. So, yeah, honestly, all makes sense for me. Oh, Mecca Knight, also a very early card that you unlock. To me, Mecca Knight is better than people think he is, because you can do a lot of sniping with him, and yeah, his wall pretty much makes him impossible to hit from without approaching him. So probably not crazy high, but something like B tier is where he would be for me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Mecca Knight's, I like Mecca Knight, but he is definitely a B tier.
Alright, so next we can go with Medusa. Our next one, man, Medusa used to be so annoying, but now like she doesn't even compare to all the new annoying cards, I'd say. Probably something like A plus.
I would say A plus as well. She didn't really lose a step. The cards that got introduced were broken.
Yeah, exactly that. And the thing is that she doesn't do enough damage now to get rid of anyone. Her shield is very useful if you want to dodge your opponent's attack, but she can't really attack back with the cards that are in the meta right now. Yep. Next one, Ollie. Sort of the same deal. Well, I mean, Ollie's a completely different card, obviously. She's pretty much supposed to be a bunker rusher. And used to be like really, really good, and even in the lower arenas, like when you want to get a lot of wins quickly, you can definitely, I think, trophy grind with her, because she's really, really hard to it's really hard to defend against her. Probably A plus.
Ollie's definitely in the A plus range.
Interesting card. Next one is a Smoker, which also has got buffed recently.
Smoker right now is kind of sneaky good.
Yeah.
The fact that they changed that his ultimate ability now has a drag effect. What I mean by that is creates a cloud, kind of like Lucha. It slows, it damages, and then he has decent damage. Honestly, the card can be used to outmaneuver pretty easily. So I kind of have him as a sneaky good. I'm going to say he's a high B.
High B,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
He's sort of like a worse Blot in a way, because definitely the damage is way worse, and it's hard to kill cards with him. But on bunkers, he's okay. All right, next one, a pretty sick card if you ask me. Mekkalodon. I like him a lot. Mekkalodon's probably my favorite sniper because he's also great in the close range. you can push with him if you want. Like, he's all around a decent card, but I mean, he's just got a very big hitbox. What do you think of him, honestly? I'd probably put him in something like top of A-.
I could see an A- for him. Meckalodon's good, especially if you learn how to use the ultimate ability correctly and bounce people off ceilings. It causes a lot of damage. He's definitely a better sniper. I don't think he's my favorite sniper, but he is definitely a good sniper.
Next one, we're gonna have Miss Bunny. Miss Bunny is probably gonna be an A- for me. She's it's sort of the most okay card in the game. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Okay speed, okay damage.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, she's just like sort of got everything that's okay, which makes her like completely fine, middle of the road, something like A-.
I would agree. High B, A-. Yep.
Next, Mr. Tiger. Okay, Mr. Tiger, I'm interested to know what you think of him.
So, Mr. Tiger on Street Frag is 100% broken. Mr. Tiger, though, in regular matchmaking is a B- for me. Overall, he does do much better damage now. His ultimate ability is more useful, but he's still slow with a huge hitbox.
Yep.
And that's just kind of where he's at.
Yep. 100%. I think the ultimate abilities is a huge strength, but the main stats of the characters are like sort of the weaknesses that it needs to be balanced. And yeah, something like B tier really makes sense for me. And I would not place him any other place. The thing is that he's sort of too slow to be like used as a main card for slaying with the main fire, I'd say. Or I mean, you can use him, like he's pretty hard to use, but I think it can work. Oh, okay. Our next one's a quarterback. Quarterback used to be my favorite character in the game, and he's still very, very fun. I used to play him quite a bit. I'd probably, like, if you're really good at him, probably something like A-, but for most people, B tier.
I'm gonna say he's B tier. I actually really like quarterback. I love his mobility. I love his health. But that projectile is just broken.
yeah, it's really, really hard to hit. Which, is worth mentioning for you guys. If you want to play quarterback, take the time to get used to that main fire, because you need to use it like at the right time, at the right position. It takes some experience and some getting used to really like master his main fire, I'd say. All right, next one we're gonna have a character that I would have put in low tier, except for recently I've started to use him a little bit, which is Rick Rock. I don't know if you agree with that decision.
I think I would put him in low tier. For me, he's like a C. The stun's really good. The chain damage is nice, but he doesn't do enough of it. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely not higher than B for me anyway. So I'm willing to put him on top of C tier. The thing is that his stun, even as an AI card, you don't really need his frag power even, but just being able to stun enemies is a huge deal. And if your AI card is able to do that, I think that's worth maybe considering him. But I think just the main stats is sort of the things that he will need to get buffed in order to be viable. Next, we're gonna have Rolaf, and I honestly say that Rolaf has been buffed pretty much as equally as Laika, and should probably stay at the same place as her. So something like A-.
I would agree with that. Rolaf's an A-. I like Rolaf, but he's definitely going to find himself in the A- range.
Yep. Next one, Scout and Nutty. I remember like something like a year ago we played together and you were able to beat my intro with your Scout and Nutty. I don't know if you remember that.
I do, actually.
It was pretty funny. Anyway,
so
what do you think of Scout?
I want Scout to be good so bad, but he's just not. There was a little bit of a meme going on for a while with my channel where I would jokingly say every time I saw a Scout Nutty, the squirrel turrets were going to take over the world. And realistically, he's a low B. But man, I want him to be good.
Yeah, I think he's sort of like more or less an AI card. If you try to play him, it's pretty hard. He's got actually okay damage. It's just really weird to hit. Tankiness, really not that much for the big hitbox. So yeah, sort of low B, probably close to C as well. Virus, I'd say she's a very low B tier. The thing is that like Virus, you can actually use her as a sniper pretty well. Her stun is also pretty good. Like you can use her stun and hit your opponents with your main fire a few times, and they're dead. The thing is, it's hard to use, so I'd say probably not higher than C tier. I mean B tier. You agree?
I would have her below Polka, but right next to Polka.
Yep. No, I mean 100%. Yeah. Okay, Snowman. Snow is so hype. If you play Snow, you get my instant respect. The thing is, like, he's not that good, which is part of the reason why he's like so hype. Very very fast, and if you're able to control the ult very well, he can do so much damage at once that like you pretty much get one-shotted if you're playing the wrong card, like not so tanky cards. So I mean, just the fact that he can do like so much damage at once sort of deserves him, I think, an A-, which is kind of crazy because he used to be very very bad last year, but the buff was actually very very good. Yeah. So yeah,
I would have him at a B+.
Yeah.
I love Snow. He's one of those fun cards. He falls into that jet category with me. But I just don't see any viability from him.
I think he can actually be used like very small time. Like I've seen people use him like a while ago. At the beginning of the game, just start by using Snow. Use your ult, rush the bunkers super fast, and then sort of switch back to another character so that you can defend or whatever. Yeah. It's maybe a sort of gameplay that you might want to try for a little bit. So next one, we're gonna have Soldatron. We're gonna have Sogeki too, and might as well put a bunch of camp cards at the same time. So there's gonna be also Shinobi, which is gonna be there. I'd say they're all really good AI cards, probably A+.
If we're talking AI, yes.
Yep.
AI on those cards is exceptional.
I mean, Shinobi, if you want to play them, I mean, Sogeki is probably the only somewhat viable one. Like, I've tried to play Soldatron in the past, and it's really really hard, and Shinobi is just too slow to do anything. So yeah, but I mean, I think most people would run them as AI cards only, so they're gonna be A+, I'd say, just because of their AI. Like, they're really good AI, probably all underrated. Okay, we're gonna have next Wolfson, or as you say, Wolfenson.
People don't know how to play Wolfenson. That's the issue with him. I've put a lot of time in with Wolfson. I think his frag level's like 30 something for me. He's a good card, but people just don't understand the mechanics of how he works enough to really bump him super high up the list.
Yeah, I think you do need to know how to use him to actually make him work. If you don't really know, he's probably something like A-, but if you do know, I think he's A+, probably not S tier, but he's still okay. So yeah, probably something like A+, along with like Fragman or.
Yep, I would agree with that.
All right, next one we're gonna have. Well, they're not very similar. They just start with the same letters. Vandal and Valkia. I think that Valkia's buff recently has made her like kind of good and very fun to use. She can actually hit bunkers through the wall with her ult, which is very very fun to use as well. Is that good enough to make her like even A+? Probably not. I'd say she's something like A-.
I think she's probably a B+. Vandal is an A, 100%.
Oh yeah, no.
I say Valkia. Valkia's really close to getting into that A range in my opinion, but she's just not quite there yet compared to the other cards that we have there.
Mm-hmm. And Vandal just like slows enemies down now. The damage is great. She's always been okay. She's always been good, and now she's even better. But she's not quite S. The S tier cards are gonna be a little bit better, and it's worth mentioning. So I think A+ is good for her. Alright guys, so this is gonna be it for the middle tier characters. I think that these characters are gonna be harder to play in your deck. If you want to make them work, it's possible, but you do need to put effort in. With that said, most of them are actually very very fun characters, and the fact that they're middle of the road makes them like that much more fun to use, because you have a challenge actually using them against the better cards, the most OP cards, but they can still make you laugh once in a while.
Yep, I can understand that entirely.
Yep. So again, thank you Space for coming in and helping me rank these cards, and I'll see all of you guys in the next part of this tier list, where we're gonna be ranking all of the S plus and S cards, which is not quite going to be the most OP cards in the game. That's going to be the last video of the tier list miniseries. So I'll see you guys there. And
all right, see you there.